So in this video, I want to share the effective but boring method I use to become 10 times more productive. After watching and implementing the steps of the video, you'll go from being the guy who always procrastinates on his homework and skips going to the gym, even though he said he would be productive, to being the productive guy who can sit down and actually get work done and do all the hard tasks he knows are needed if he wants to improve, without feeling the constant urge of wanting to scroll on his phone. Now this can be achieved through what I call the bathroom rule and a dumbified phone. This is something I developed to stop constantly looking at my phone and never being productive. I went from being the guy who would scroll as he was doing his homework. I'd be the guy who was doing the assignment that we had to hand in last minute, literally on the day that it was supposed to be handed in. And also just every time I wanted to upload a YouTube video, I'd procrastinate on it for weeks. To now being able to sit down and do 2 hours of deep work every morning at 5 AM before school and easily breeze through the homework and hand in the assignments before they're even due. The amount of YouTube videos that I've created throughout the time should be enough to prove to you that this productivity system works. So let's get into it. So step 1, dumbify your phone. Best way to become more productive is to make the work more interesting. And the way that we make the work more interesting is by making the rest of our life not as stimulating. And it was only when I dumbified my phone that I could, just turn it around, put it on the table and not look at it. It's actually very simple. You go from having this stimulation machine, this shiny object of your phone, and just turning it into like a boring productivity tool. It's fucking sick, man. It's so easy to do and it works so well. And there are 2 good apps for doing this. The first one is called ScreenSend. Now what this app does is for all of the bad apps, let's say Snapchat or YouTube or whatever apps that you still have on your phone, whenever you try and go onto them, it will give you a message, like a pop-up message before you can access the app. So what I've put is, are you a gooner? And so I get that thinking time, because then let's say I let myself in on the app. I press the button and say, yes, I want to get into the app. I need to sit like a dumbass for like 10 seconds before the app opens, and I'm just there, fucking mouth breathing, look at the screen. And so oftentimes this thinking time makes you understand, shit bro, why am I even doing this? Like, let me get off this app. And that is so powerful. And now you've started to make your phone less interesting because there's not these stimulating fucking apps on your phone, which makes in turn, so let's say your phone is less interesting, that means that the work now becomes more interesting because you're used to having like a higher boredom baseline. Now the other app that we can use is an app called Dumbify. Now this app just removes all the shiny apps and the colors and shit. Not like, it doesn't make your phone grayscale, but it makes your like phone just white or black on the home screen with just like literally text. So I'll put up like a screenshot so you can see, but it basically makes my phone so there's no apps, it's just text, and then I press the text and it opens an app. And this is very good for, as I said, making your phone from like a stimulation machine into like a boring tool that you can use for productivity. So these 2 apps completely changed it for me, and I recommend you go and download them right now. And if you've been avoiding the work or planning to do some but never really got into it, then check out my free 28-day protocol on how to become a consistent content creator in the description. So here is step 2, which is de-stimulate. So the bathroom rule, which I briefly mentioned, is what changed it all for me. Only when I implemented this, the productive work become way easier, and I was able to do so much more work, and also all the other self-improvement habits also became easier. And the bathroom rule is actually very simple. It's just about doing one thing at a time. Now you might think, bro, what do you mean by that? I basically mean, instead of constantly multitasking, let's say you're eating dinner, right? You're most likely watching a YouTube video whilst doing that. Let's say you're taking a shit. You're probably scrolling on your phone actually doing it. Maybe you're on the bus, then you're listening to music. You're constantly stimulating yourself as you're doing like a normal boring task. Well, what the bathroom rule is about just not doing this. It's about doing everything one thing at a time. So let's say the next time you eat dinner, you just eat dinner. It's very fucking simple. The next time you take a shit, you just take a shit. You don't constantly like overstimulate yourself whilst this is happening. And what this does is that it lowers your dopamine baseline, and it makes you more used to doing all the boring, normal daily activities, which in turn also makes the work more interesting because you also need, work isn't that stimulating. And so if you can get used to just taking a shit without extra stimulation, it also becomes easier to do the work without extra stimulation. So I'll just quickly go over What areas of life will you use the bathroom rule? When you're eating, don't watch shit. When you're taking a shit, don't watch shit. When you're brushing your teeth, if you are like a maniac like I was, don't do it when you're taking on your clothes. Don't do it as you're on the bus. If you're biking to school, don't listen to music. All this stuff is very simple. And if there's one area of life where you think, shit, do I follow the bathroom rule? Just follow it then. It's probably just best to follow it if it is, like, if that's what you're thinking. And now you need to just fucking lock in on this. But how do you hold yourself accountable with doing the bathroom rule? Well, that is step 3. Hold yourself so accountable that you lose sleep. But now you already know what to do. You need to get consistent with the work and not overstimulate yourself. Because the moment I stopped focusing on the bathroom rule and not overstimulating myself, I started procrastinating way more on all the self-improvement habits, going to the gym, and also my work. It's like I just couldn't sit down to work. So to make sure that you constantly stick to the bathroom rule, we're going to use a habit tracker. And I'll mention this many times before, and it's basically just a simple piece of paper that you hang on your wall right by your bed, and at the top you write down the habit that you're tracking, and then below all the days are, and then you just tick off a box for every single day, and if you don't do it, then you cross it. It basically makes doing the boring shit feel like a video game, because you're leveling up and you're trying to build a streak of ticks. And then let's say you're on your bed. That's why I said, you lose sleep from this. It's because maybe you're about to go to bed, but then you see your habit tracker, you see an unticked box, and you've been following the bathroom rule for like the past 5 days. Then you don't want to just leave that tick. That's why this accountability is so good, because I remember days where I have like reading on it, or I'd have like do this specific work task, and I was about to go to bed without having done them. But just because of the habit tracker, I literally delayed my sleeping, which probably isn't too good, but at least I got the work done. That's how effective a habit tracker is. And yeah, actually in the description, you can get my template completely for free. Just first link in the description, inside my program, it's all there, it's completely for free. And if you're struggling with consistency, I've literally built a 28-day challenge for you to build discipline and consistency within content creation, where I guide you daily on what to do, and you get all the habit tracker systems as well, so you don't even need to make it yourself. It's free. Top link in the description, check it out, bro. Alright mate, that was it. That was the entire productivity system. This will genuinely 10x your productivity. Just by de-stimulating yourself, it'll be so much easier to do the work. And the funny thing is, in this video, I haven't even talked about like tactics or direct ways in which you can do more work. It's literally just about reducing everything else, and then work will become so much easier and it'll become so much more of a priority for you. Alright, that's it. Put one foot in front of the other.